gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, I'm Vivian Castellanos. Tonight we'll break down the fast-moving storms that have flooded parts of the city and New Jersey and discuss the MTA's upcoming virtual OMNY pilot. Traffic is moderate, and we'll also hear about Brooklyn's Queen 1 raising $25 million for new jobs. Over to you, Andre.
The inaugural Staten Island hot dog eating contest kicked off yesterday at South Beach Boardwalk, drawing 30 local competitors who each aim to swallow as many franks as possible within 10 minutes.
Organizers announced former champion Maria Lopez as head judge, while a $5,000 cash prize awaits the winner, and families lined the promenade cheering loudly throughout the event.
The contest is being streamed live on the city's official YouTube channel, with proceeds supporting the Staten Island Food Bank's summer nutrition program for children in need.
Lots to get to, let's begin, staying tuned for more community highlights and the day's latest updates right after this brief pause. Here are our top stories. Fast-moving storms slammed New York City and New Jersey Sunday morning, flooding low-lying streets and overwhelming drainage systems across several neighborhoods. Residents faced rising water levels as crews responded. Marisol Furrer has the full story.
Rain hammered the streets just after dawn on Sunday morning as a line of fast-moving storms surged through the boroughs. In lower Manhattan, water spilled over curbside gutters, turning avenues into shallow rivers that forced commuters onto sidewalks. Across Brooklyn, the East River floodwall swelled, and small businesses reported flooded basements. In New Jersey, the town of Hoboken saw low-lying avenues turn slick, with runoff choking storm drains that could not keep pace. Emergency crews deployed pumps and sandbags, while motorists were urged to avoid the most affected blocks. The deluge, driven by intense rain, left drainage systems overwhelmed across the region. Residents in the area reported streetlights flickering as power strained under the sudden surge. Marisol Furrer, GMNA News, New York City.
Testing this morning at Herbert Von King Park uncovered dangerous levels of arsenic and mercury in the soil beneath the popular dog run. City officials moved quickly to shut the area, citing health risks for pets and their owners. The closure remains in effect while the Department of Environmental Protection conducts a full assessment and determines a remediation plan. Residents of Bedford-Stuyvesant, who often bring their dogs to the fenced play space, were warned to keep pets away until a safe clearance is issued. The discovery follows a citywide push to test recreational sites for hazardous contaminants after several recent incidents elsewhere. Officials said they will coordinate with state health agencies to ensure the soil meets safety standards before the dog run can reopen. The park remains open for other activities while the dog area stays locked.
Today, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority announced the start of a pilot program that will roll out a virtual version of the OMNY fare card across the city's subway and bus network. After a year of setbacks in delivering a digital alternative, the MTA will begin testing the new e-card this afternoon, giving riders the option to add fare to a smartphone app instead of using the existing reloadable plastic cards found at vending machines. Officials say the trial will run for a full year, during which performance, security, and user experience will be evaluated before any broader rollout. Commuters who opt in will be able to tap their phones at turnstiles and on buses, mirroring the contactless swipe currently required. The agency hopes the digital solution will streamline fare payment and reduce the need for physical card inventory.
Police say a man was slashed across the face after an argument at John V. Lindsay East River Park near Delancey Street. Just before 10:30 p.m. 2 men are involved. Priya Raghunathan has the full story.
Just before 10:30 p.m. on August 22nd, officers arrived at John V. Lindsay East River Park after a report of a fight near Delancey Street and FDR Drive. Witnesses said 2 men had been arguing loudly when one pulled a knife and cut the other across the face. The victim, a male in his 30s, staggered to a nearby bench while the alleged attacker fled into the surrounding pathways. Paramedics treated the wound on site before transporting the man to a local hospital. Detectives are canvassing the area and reviewing video from nearby benches as they piece together what sparked the altercation. No arrests have been made at this time. Priya Raghunathan, GMNA News, Lower East Side.
Last month, a man drew a crowd of about a dozen onlookers on the Coney Island boardwalk when he displayed a Burmese python. City environmental officers intervened, seized the snake, and issued the man a ticket for illegal possession. Under New York law, Burmese pythons are prohibited because they are an invasive species that threaten local ecosystems. The Department of Environmental Conservation's local unit carried out the seizure, citing statutes that ban ownership of large constrictor snakes without a permit. The man's identity was not released, and he faces a fine in addition to the citation. The reptile was transported to a state wildlife refuge for safe containment. Officials reminded residents that transporting or displaying prohibited exotic pets can result in criminal charges. No injuries were reported, and the boardwalk returned to normal after officers cleared the scene. Later, we'll hear how a hovercraft rescued a family on Fire Island Inlet. Story you won't want to miss. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Today, Suffolk County Police Marine Bureau deployed a hovercraft to pull a family from a grounded boat near Fire Island Inlet. The vessel had run aground in the shallow channel, leaving the parents and their child stranded as tide began to rise. Officers arrived aboard the amphibious craft, navigating the sandbars that keep conventional boats at bay, and escorted the family aboard safely. Paramedics examined the toddler on the spot, treating minor scrapes before the family was taken to a nearby medical facility for observation. The hovercraft rescue underscores the Bureau's routine use of the craft to reach vessels in the tricky waters along the Long Island coast. The crew noted the hovercraft's ability to glide over water and sand, a key advantage in the inlet's shifting shoals. No further injuries were reported, and the family expressed gratitude for the swift response.
Construction to improve safety on a stretch of JFK Boulevard in Journal Square begins the week of August 23, 2026, targeting a corridor long flagged as high risk. The project will span 18 months. Priya Raghunathan has the full story.
Construction crews have rolled onto a 2-mile stretch of JFK Boulevard in Journal Square, installing new guardrails, improved lighting, and redesigned crosswalks. The work, slated to begin this week of August 23rd, is part of an 18-month safety overhaul aimed at taming one of the city's most hazardous corridors. Workers are clearing debris, resurfacing pavement, and adding traffic calming islands to slow vehicles. Temporary lane closures and reduced speed limits are in place, with detour signage guiding drivers around the site. Officials say the upgrades will address long-standing safety concerns that have plagued the thoroughfare, hoping to cut down accidents and protect pedestrians and cyclists alike. Priya Raghunathan, GMNA News, Journal Square.
Yesterday on Staten Island, the FDNY and NYPD turned a typical day into a playful showdown, hosting the island's first hot dog eating contest. Over 100 spectators gathered at a local park as firefighters and police officers lined up to see who could devour the most franks in the allotted time. The competition, organized by the two agencies as a morale-boosting event, featured a lively commentator, music, and plenty of cheering from onlookers. While the fire crew edged ahead in the final tally, the police squad put up a strong fight, and both sides exchanged good-natured banter throughout. Organizers said the friendly rivalry highlighted teamwork between the city's emergency services and promised to make the contest an annual tradition. The event wrapped up with a shared barbecue, leaving participants and fans satisfied and eager for next year's rematch.
The Empty Sky Memorial in Jersey City is again under fire as the city approaches the 25th anniversary of the September 11 attacks. Officials say construction remains incomplete, with key elements such as the central plaza and reflective pool still missing. Families of victims and local advocacy groups have voiced frustration, arguing that the unfinished site undermines the solemn purpose of the tribute. City leaders promise that work will accelerate, but funding shortfalls and permitting delays have stalled progress. Critics warn that the lack of a finished monument could cast a shadow over the commemorations set for September 11. The controversy adds pressure on municipal authorities to deliver a complete memorial before the anniversary, a milestone that many see as a moment of collective healing. The City Council is slated to vote on additional appropriations next month, a decision that could determine the memorial's final shape.
Deaths among homeless New Yorkers declined in 2025, even as the city's homeless count remained at a historic high. Most fatalities were tied to drug use. Marisol Furrer has the full story.
Deaths among New York's homeless fell this year, even as the city's shelter count remains at a historic peak. City officials reported a decline in mortality for 2025, with the number of deaths dropping compared with last year, while the overall homeless population held steady at its highest level on record. Health data show that the majority of the fatalities were tied to drug use, underscoring the ongoing crisis of addiction within the street community. Despite the drop in deaths, advocates say the unchanged population size signals that housing solutions have yet to catch up with demand. The city continues to track both trends as part of its broader public health strategy. Marisol Furrer, GMNA News, Manhattan.
Now let's turn to your evening forecast and see what's coming up with our meteorologist.
A deepening high and a swift southern jet are locking in clear skies and steady heat tonight. On this date, the city sweltered to 88 degrees in 2021, a record set during a late summer heat wave that pushed humidity above 70%. The coldest reading came in 2018 at 53 degrees, when an Arctic dip slipped southward, blanketing the region in an unseasonal chill. Normal values hover around 82 high and 66 low, so today's 82 degrees sits comfortably above average, while the low of 63 sits just a touch above the norm. The live radar is completely quiet across the metropolitan area, with no echoes of rain or snow in sight. A high-pressure ridge dominates, suppressing lift and keeping the atmosphere stable. The southern jet streams overhead are moving fast but remain aloft, steering any moisture well north of the city. With no precipitation on the screen, we can expect the clear conditions to persist through the evening and into the night. At 6 p.m., the sky remains clear, and the temperature holds at 82 degrees with a dew point of 63, keeping humidity at 53%. A southwest wind blows at 14 miles per hour, gusting up to 23, providing a mild breeze that will linger through the night. Pressure is high and rising as a ridge builds, reinforcing the dry air mass. Overhead, a strong southern jet at 133 miles per hour reinforces the ridge and prevents any cloud development. UV index is 5. No active alerts are in effect. Expect temperatures to dip to 63 after sunset, then hold steady through the night as the ridge remains anchored. Monday will stay dry with a high of 81 and a low of 61 under continued high pressure. Tuesday cools slightly, reaching a high of 75 and a low of 61, still clear as the ridge drifts east. Wednesday introduces mid-level clouds, pushing the high back to 81 and the low to 63, a subtle shift as a weak trough nudges the jet stream. Thursday brings the first chance of rain, with a high of 81, low of 68, and about 35% probability as the trough deepens. Friday remains unsettled, high 82, low 68, and a 30% chance of showers as a lingering disturbance passes. The temperature swing from the low 70s to low 80s will keep the week dynamic, with the jet stream providing the primary steering mechanism for the upcoming moisture. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic's moderate today. The Giants rookies dazzled the Dolphins, and Queen One just raised $25 million. More on all that. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Major crash on the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway at 86th Street is snarling traffic from Williamsburg through Bushwick. All lanes are down and northbound flow backs up to Grand Street. Expect delays of 20 minutes or more and consider the Manhattan Bridge or Jefferson Avenue. A moderate accident on FDR Drive near 34th Street holds the southbound lane, adding roughly 10 minutes. A disabled vehicle on East River Drive near 12th Street is being cleared. The road is open. In Queens, a moderate crash on East Butterfield Road in Elmhurst slows the Grand Avenue intersection. Parade celebrations for Pakistan Independence Day fill Manhattan's West Side streets, and bridge repairs on Grand Street, Metropolitan Avenue and Broadway bridges keep lane closures. On transit, a signal problem at Jamaica Station delays Babylon and Ronkonkoma trains. The BX12 bus has minor slowdowns in the Bronx. Allow extra time this afternoon.
Free Circus Festival at Bryant Park next week turns Midtown Manhattan into a vibrant playground. With a massive trampoline, daring aerial acts, and more, perfect for families looking for big screen thrills without spending a dime. The All-You-Can-Drink Sake Festival is on now, bringing more than 50 breweries from around the world to sample rare pours, a chance to toast the city's growing love of Japanese craft and discover new flavors. Brooklyn honors its past with the 250th anniversary of the Battle of Brooklyn celebration, featuring waterfront activities, historic reenactments, and local food stalls that remind us why this borough matters. Finally, the car-free Eastern Parkway event invites kids and parents to stroll, play, and reclaim the street in Brooklyn this weekend, giving the neighborhood a breath of fresh air and a chance to support local vendors. Those are the highlights shaping our week, so get out and make the most of them. And now here's Desmond with sports.
The city's teams are shaping up, from rookie bursts to roster shake-ups. Giants limited starters against Miami after a grueling joint practice, yet the rookies seized the chance, showing early flashes of grit. With right guard Sissy Moigoa sidelined by a stinger and cornerback Colton Hood out, depth chart battles at guard and corner are now front and center. Bo Bichette admits his numbers have lagged, blaming a rocky first 2 months for the Mets' disappointing start. His candid self-assessment could spark a turning point, forcing the front office to decide whether a role tweak or a fresh approach will unlock the offense before the stretch run. The Mets roll into Chicago with a lineup anchored by Lindor at shortstop and Bichette at third, while Carson Benj patrols right field and Lewis Robert guards left. Adding power from Eric Wagaman and depth at first with Christopher Morel, the club hopes the combo fuels a road trip surge. The Yankees fell just short in their recent showdown, a reminder that close games only count in horseshoes. Still 3 games back of the division-leading Rays, every win matters as they chase the playoff bubble, and the upcoming series against Toronto could be the catalyst. New York's bullpen gets a boost as Cody Bellinger returns from the injured list, adding a left-handed bat for late-inning matchups. Meanwhile, Ryan Weathers heads to the IL with a left forearm strain, opening a rotation spot that could accelerate a younger arm's ascent. The Liberty's frontcourt trio, Stewart, Fiebich, and Jones, combined for a staggering 73 points in a win over the Fever, propelling the club toward a top 3 WNBA standing. Their offensive firepower sets a tone for the stretch run, forcing rivals to adjust defensive schemes. Stay tuned, the city's seasons keep writing their own stories.
Thanks, Desmond. Brooklyn's Queen One, a tech startup tucked in the industrial corridors of Bushwick, just secured a $25 million round of funding. The fresh capital will fund a wave of new hires, 44 engineers, designers, and operations staff this quarter, part of a broader plan to scale up to 600 jobs across New York City. Local vendors also feel the ripple as the expanding office space brings more foot traffic to nearby cafes and co-working hubs. By building a talent pipeline, Queen One is turning Brooklyn into a launchpad for the next generation of AI-driven solutions, giving young coders a place to grow without leaving the borough. It's a reminder that the city's future is being written in its own neighborhoods, one startup at a time. Coming up, U.S. Open Fan Week starts as streets close for summer festivities and the colorful Pakistan parade. Stay tuned. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. U.S. Open Fan Week launches with Carlos Alcaraz and Fran Rubio appearances as Manhattan closes streets for Summer Streets and the Pakistan Independence Day celebration parade, running August 22 through 23. Priya Raghunathan has the full story.
Fans are swarming the courts as U.S. Open Fan Week opens on August 22, continuing through August 23, 2026, with top seed Carlos Alcaraz signing autographs on the west side. At the same time, the city's Summer Streets program wraps up, shutting down a stretch of Fifth Avenue, Broadway, and surrounding cross streets for 2 days of pedestrian and bike activity. Later Saturday afternoon, the Pakistan Independence Day celebration parade rolls down Houston Street, featuring colorful floats, drum lines, and a street food festival that stretches into the evening. Organizers say the event will draw families from across the borough, while the Summer Streets closure gives cyclists an open road experience before traffic resumes Monday. The streets will reopen for regular traffic after the weekend. Priya Raghunathan, GMNA News, Manhattan.
New Arts Commissioner Dia Vij, appointed in February 2026, vows to keep New York City cultural programming affordable as the Department of Cultural Affairs expands venues like Lincoln Center West Side. Priya Raghunathan has the full story.
Dia Vij took the helm of the Department of Cultural Affairs this February, stepping into a city where rising rents and ticket prices threaten to push the arts out of reach. Within the next 6 months, her office plans to roll out a series of grant programs aimed at community theaters, small-scale galleries, and youth workshops, all designed to keep tickets under a modest price tag. Officials say the funding will also support free public performances in parks and on streets, especially as the Lincoln Center expansion pushes into the west side. Vij said affordable access is a core goal of the new initiatives, aiming to keep New York's cultural heartbeat alive for every neighborhood. Priya Raghunathan, GMNA News, Upper West Side.
Thank you, New York City, for joining us this evening. Tonight's hovercraft rescue at Fire Island reminded us of the bravery that keeps our waters safe. We appreciate your trust in the local sunset. Tune in tomorrow for more stories that matter to our neighborhoods. I'm Vivian Castellanos. Good night.